How was it?
Really good. I thought, guys flew around, competed. Great energy out there. Some guys made some plays. Some guys made a bunch of mistakes, too, which is awesome. The challenge for us is just never making the same mistake twice, and if we continue to do that, then we'll be pushing to where we want to be as we work through spring ball.
Thoughts on Brandon and his first action, seeing him?
I did a good job. First day, just understanding the flow of practice. It's different, the tempo with which we practice that a little bit. I thought he adjusted as the practice went on, got more and more comfortable, made a couple nice throws in the team period, and his group work was probably his best work of the day, so excited about what he did.
Now that you could talk about him a little bit, what does it mean for you guys to have him here?
Competition. A year ago, right, KZ's in the room, and for good reason was the guy in the room. I think right now you got 4 guys that are competing, splitting reps, pushing each other out on the practice field, pushing each other in the meeting room. The strength of any position, certainly the quarterback position, can never be one guy. I think last year is indicative of that. You got to have guys that are ready to go play and compete and play at a championship level. I like that they're pushing within themselves really hard. They're competing with the guy next to them, but they're coaching each other up in a really positive way, and I think that energy, the way they relate to one another, is important for the rest of the team to see as well.
How important is it to have KZ out there?
I'm going to go with this one because I heard that one loud.
How are you handling the reps?
We're splitting them evenly right now, all 4 guys, and they're just kind of cycling through. DJ got the first crack today as we went out there, and we'll just continue to cycle through.
How important is it to have KZ out there today?
I think it's great for us, right? Just his energy and guys seeing him around. He's been in the building, been in meetings whenever he can. He's obviously living in the rehab in the training room as well. He'll be back all afternoon getting rehab. I think it's great for him, too, to be engaged, mentally engaged in it, and coaching those guys up. We were in an individual period. He was kind of motoring around on his cart, came up to me and, had a couple things for the guys, and it's important for him and important for us.
What are your early impressions of Dylan Gabriel?
Smart, coachable, can change from one rep to the next. You give him something, he incorporates it into his game. I thought he made great decisions out there today with the football, having his eyes on the right place, and then being really decisive and going to the right guy. The next process is getting his feet in the right position to be consistently accurate with it. He is an accurate passer. Excited about what he did today as well as first practice out there.
What sort of development have you seen out of DJ after coming off the Fiesta Bowl and getting here and getting back?
I think, right, you go back watching the LSU game, there's so many little things that he can do better that help us be successful as a team. And at the end of the day, that position, you need 10 other guys around you to play at a really high level. At the same time, you got the ball in your hands, so if you play well enough, you can cover up guys' mistakes. And the little things, the subtle movements inside of the pocket, becoming more comfortable and being in a better position to throw the football when he does have to move in the pocket is something that's been critical for him. I think he's got a better understanding of what we're doing offensively, can still grow in that way. But, I think, the time we've spent in February with the coaches back, he's matured in a good way. We all have a long ways to go. So if we continue to push, don't make the same mistake twice, we'll have a chance to get better.
Aside from quarterback, what is the biggest question you want to see answered this year?
There's questions everywhere, right? Nobody's got a starting spot. You got to go out and earn it. There's not a play that a guy made or didn't make last year that carries over to this next year. Not a call that anybody on the staff made that's going to carry over, good or bad. You got to go out and earn it. You got to go take advantage of every rep every day. I think just the guys that we lost on the defensive line, right? It's natural to say that is a position that we got to see some young guys really develop, but that's certainly true of every position.
Coming off a loss for the first time in a long time, is there an extra drive, an extra pep in their step out there?
Coming back from the bowl game, and maybe that's just year 1 to year 2 as a staff and as a team together, but I have felt a great attention to detail, a great sense of urgency, a togetherness, a trust factor, a communication factor that has grown a lot from where we even finished the season, let alone to where we were a year ago at this time. Still not where we need to be, but I like, how we came back, how we've worked in the offseason in the weight room, the gains guys have made. When we've been able to do some football stuff in the lead up to spring ball, their attentiveness to the detail. Today, I thought they practiced really well, competed really hard, but did it in a really positive way. Excited about, who and where we are right now as individuals and collectively as a group. We got to continue to grow in all those areas for us to be the type of team that we want to be.
We saw Jake Brown walk on senior day. It looks like he changed his mind and decided to come back. How big of a boost is that, given you're losing Wyatt Miller at tackle?
To have one of your tackles back, that's huge for us, and excited to have him back. Novell Clark, a guy that, potentially could have left early, that chose to come back and be a part of this football team, continue to grow as a man and as a player. The ownership that he's taking, all those things are critical to who and what we are going to be.
What's the biggest thing you've learned going from year 1 to year 2 as a head coach?
There's a million things. Subtly how you change, just your player's day, how it unfolds, how you maximize the time management piece of it for them. Time on task within all of our schemes, offense, defense, special teams. You have a much better understanding of your personnel. You still give them a chance to be the player they are today. You don't judge them for who they were yesterday. At the same time, you have an opportunity to put them in positions where you have a better understanding of who and what they are, where they have an opportunity to grow in the scheme, grow fundamentally, and hopefully can push and compete and get themselves on the field.
What about the tight end position? You got to replace Kude Ali.
Yeah, we didn't have Coobs at this time of year either, so maybe there's another 6-year guy out there that's coming back to us we don't know about. We do miss Coobs. Just love who he was as a person and as a player. Hescock, guy that's got the most time on task as far as reps and plays. He's got a lot of development left in him. Jonathan McAllister, a guy that didn't get a chance to play last year, that's fast, physical, great in the box. Want to see him and how he matures, and grows as a player when we get the pads on. So I'm excited about that group and where I think they can continue to head.
How does Greg McQuaid look on the field in this spring as opposed to a year ago last spring?
I think everybody, just we're one day into it. I think everybody's so much more comfortable as far as understanding our schemes, the pace of the play, how to press the line of scrimmage at the running back position. I thought Greg did a really good job in the pass game too. He caught a couple balls on the perimeter that were big plays. I thought AK, just in things that we're continuing to ask him to grow as a player, made a couple of really nice cuts today that I pointed out to him. Just really like what he did today. And Otis did a really good job of pressing the line of scrimmage, coming out the back door with some runs. Those guys are so much further than they were a year ago, right? They're all fast players, but they have a much better understanding of the concepts and how to use the guys in front of them.
2 or 3 more for Coach. Where is KZ in his rehab? Is there more surgery he's got to get, or is he?
He's a long ways away from being at the end of his rehab. He's got a long ways to go, but I do really like how things have unfolded for him at this point. I think he feels good about the surgeries that have happened and for as bad of an injury as it is, just how things kind of played out after the initial first surgery. We got a long ways to go, but he's pushing every day to get himself back on the field.
Josh, special teams, you got, again, in the situation where you got some guys who left.
Special teams?
Yeah, special teams, Loud and Open, right? Mm-hmm. What do you got to do on this spring to see some of you guys out there?
We got to find somebody that can kick it out the back of the end zone and help our coverage team. We need somebody that can put it through the uprights, and when we do punt, someone that's going to do a good job. There's a big void there, right? And those are all things that I think, as a fan, you can take it for granted until there's a glaring spot, a void at those positions. We need some young guys to develop quickly and become highly competitive and really consistent in what they do.
All the talk about the player from year 1 to year 2, but how did the staff feel entering today and that team?
Yeah, one of the few staffs in the country, right, where no turnover. Our ability to grow as a staff, as we did throughout the season, but you come back. Everyone's on the same page. The challenge is always don't take anything for granted. Continue to get better every single day, paying more attention to the detail. But I think that us being in sync, having a year under our belt, we've grown as a staff as well. And I think that will help us, and I think it's critical just to the trust factor with players, the communication with players, continuing to become more and more consistent with them. I think that's a big part of, why our players have come back and handled it the way they have as well.
Thank you.